Alright, this video I want to speak about really quickly some real violence, and this is what we really got to prepare for and deal with out here in the streets, especially in Chicago. We always hear about shootings all the time, and I don't even look at newspapers or watch the news anymore because there's just so much violence going on around. But this is just something that happened very close to where we work, and basically there's this guy, 64-year-old, that worked across the street from our location, and he was murdered a couple weeks ago. And they gave us a pamphlet talking about his life and everything and how he's missed. And then we looked up the guy in the internet to find out what happened, and we read the article. Pretty much 64-year-old, and he was living with a 48-year-old woman, and they were both found stabbed to death in their apartment. They were like wrapped up in blankets, and then the people that did it, they burned the evidence. Like they started a fire, and then the neighbors called the firefighters, and the firefighters found the bodies. So the 64-year-old and the 48-year-old were stabbed to death in their apartment in Chicago, Rogers Park. So that's an example of the real stuff that's going on out there. I mean, you're talking about who knows who the killers are, but say the killers were in their 20s or 30s, and you're an older person and you gotta fight for your life against these 20 or 30-year-olds. I mean, that's something real. This is not the competition fighting, this is survival. And I believe martial arts is not for children. Martial arts really should be for the elderly, giving the elderly people an advantage, a special skill, so then they could have a better chance of survival. People get stuck in this mentality that martial arts is for kids. Martial arts is not for kids. This stuff is for mature, responsible adults, and actually the older you are, the more important it is for you to know something to give you an advantage. I mean, who knows if this person or these two people, if they would have been trained, if they would have stayed athletic, who knows, maybe they possibly could have survived the situation. If they trained in martial arts, maybe they had a heightened sense of awareness before stepping in the home. Maybe they could have heard something inside, and then maybe that would prevent them from even going inside the door. Maybe when they saw the offenders, maybe they could have screamed out, so then the neighbors could hear and call the police immediately. I mean, you don't know what happened. They're still doing an investigation to figure out what happened. There's no suspects. They haven't caught the murderers. I mean, imagine that, just passing away like that. And recently, my friend let me know that somebody broke into his home. Luckily, nothing happened, but somebody broke into his home while he was there with his wife. But the guy ran away. So this is some serious stuff. I mean, these two people, 64-year-old and 48-year-old, stabbed to death. They're gone. This is not competition fighting. This is like real serious stuff that this is what we had to prepare for, especially if you live in Chicago. You don't know what's gonna happen, and it's a sad thing, very sad. But I think a lot of the training is for health and wellness, but when it comes to combative aspects, we have to find a way to survive stuff like this. And it's not easy, but this is what I focus on in the training. Not competition fighting, but some real, like, serious, dangerous encounters. People with weapons, people that are younger than you, stronger than you, faster than you. And you gotta figure out a way to survive. How are you gonna survive that situation? So I hope sharing this story could get you to maybe get involved with something, at least get in shape at the very least. And on top of that, the next level is maybe training in something where you can protect yourself in case something happens, because you never know. You don't, these people probably never thought something like this could ever happen. And this person worked right across the street from me, and then he, in the neighborhood is where he got stabbed and killed, the neighborhood of where the businesses are located. So you hear about stuff that happens to people around you, don't think that that can't happen to you. Don't believe that, hey, oh, I don't gotta worry about none of this stuff, it'll never happen to me. If you think like that, that's not a good way to think. Especially in Chicago. I mean, we have to do to the best of our ability to preserve our health, protect ourselves from violence. And that's true violence. People like breaking into your home or whatnot, stealing things, and then they got knives, they got guns in them, and they're ready to kill you right if you walk through the door. That's some serious stuff right there. And that's something that we need to prepare against, people that are truly violent. They're just out. They'll kill you. They'll kill you for $5. That's something that we gotta really prepare for. It requires a lot of training. But as we train, it's just a way to help us gain better health and maybe get a taste of meditation. So something to think about. I'll put the link to the article in the description section of this video. You can check it out.